Russian forces fired missiles at several cities in Ukraine and landed troops on its south coast on Thursday, officials and media said, after President Vladimir Putin authorized what he called a special military operation in the east. While Russia's military claims that Ukraine's air defense has been neutralized just hours after it began attacking key cities, Kyiv has warned of continuous cyber attacks. As the Ukrainian military continues to withstand Russian strikes, Kyiv announced the downing of a Russian aircraft. Additionally, Ukraine's forces said today, February 24th at 5 a.m., the armed forces of the Russian Federation began intense shelling of our units in the east and also launched rocket and bomb attacks on airfields in Boryspil, Ozernoye, Kulbakin, Chuguev, Kramatorsk, Chernobyevka, as well as on military facilities of Ukraine. At the same time, the aggressor began artillery shelling of the territory and settlements of Ukraine along the state border. Shortly after Putin spoke in a televised address on Russian state TV, explosions could be heard in the pre-dawn quiet of the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. Gunfire rattled near the capital's main airport, news agencies said, and sirens were heard over the city. Putin has just launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Peaceful Ukrainian cities are under strikes, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said on Twitter. This is a war of aggression. Ukraine will defend itself and will win. The war can and must stop Putin. The time to act is now. US President Joe Biden, reacting to an invasion the United States had been predicting for weeks, said his prayers were with the people of Ukraine as they suffer an unprovoked and unjustified attack by Russian military forces. Russia has demanded an end to NATO's eastward expansion, and Putin reacted his position that Ukrainian membership of the US-led Atlantic Military Alliance was unacceptable. He said he had authorized military action after Russia had been left with no choice but to defend itself against what he called threats emanating from modern Ukraine, a democratic state of 44 million people. Russia cannot feel safe, develop, and exist with a constant threat emanating from the territory of modern Ukraine, Putin said. All responsibility for bloodshed will be on the conscience of the ruling regime in Ukraine. The full scope of the Russian military operation was not immediately clear, but Putin said, "Our plans do not include the occupation of Ukrainian territories. We are not going to impose anything by force." Speaking as the UN Security Council held an emergency meeting in New York, Putin said he had ordered Russian forces to protect the people and appealed to the Ukrainian military to lay down their arms. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia had carried out missile strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure and border guards, and that explosions had been heard in many cities. He said that martial law had been declared and that he had spoken by telephone to Biden. Reservists were called upon on Wednesday. Media reported that military command centers in Kyiv and the city of Kharkiv in the northeast had been struck by missiles while Russian troops had landed in the southern port cities of Odessa and Mariupol. Russian-backed separatists said they had launched an offensive on the Ukrainian-controlled town of Shastia in the east, news agencies said, and explosions were also rocked the breakaway eastern Ukrainian city of Donetsk. However, hours earlier, the separatists issued a plea to Moscow for help to stop alleged Ukrainian aggression, claims the United States dismissed as Russian propaganda. Global stocks in US bond yields dived, while the dollar and gold rocketed higher after Putin's address. Brent oil surged past $100 per barrel for the first time since 2014. News Desk, Kaumudy Global.